And another method of preserving and canning fruits, besides confit making or jam, is fruits in syrup, which we prepare in a thick, concentrated sugar syrup. We sterilize them, and they can be stored for 1 to 1.5 years, staying perfectly fine without any issues. When I say without any issues, I mean that no biological processes are taking place there. They remain stable. These foods, this recipe, this dessert attracted me because my French grandmother. I have these French grandparents, not by blood but by name, since they don't have children. They actually consider me their daughter, even though I call them grandpa and grandma, but to them, I am a daughter. That's how it works. Grandpa has a big garden next to the house. Of course, he grows tomatoes, potatoes, asparagus, artichokes, and everything else there. But there are also tons of fruits, which Grandma spends the whole summer and fall processing and canning. And then in winter or early spring, when all the apples are already gone, those jars are opened and you get pieces of peaches or pears or even apples. You quickly whip up some chocolate mousse, add a piece of that pear, and there you have your Belle Hélène. A classic French dessert, yes. Adding a piece of that pear to your morning oatmeal is just wonderful. Or you could make some kind of puff pastry. Put a piece of this pear or maybe a peach, yes, some custard, and there you go. So this is a base for many uses. Yes, for many future recipes, breakfasts, or even desserts. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a pear. It can be any variety. The only important thing is that it's not too overripe, so it doesn't get mushy in your hands or, accordingly, in the syrup. Yes, you can use a conference pear, or this Parisienne one. There's that one, you know, the long, tasty one. It can be any variety. Just make sure they're nice and firm, basically not damaged, not rotten, and that's it. We'll need a lemon, sugar, and water, as well as a jar, which you should sterilize beforehand, either by pouring hot water over it or steaming it. We'll peel the pears and remove the cores, and at the same time, we'll cook the syrup in a saucepan. Add water and our sugar, bring it to a boil, and let it cook for 3 minutes. Meanwhile, we'll work on the pears. Peel them nicely and elegantly, for they keep their beautiful shape. Why do the French, especially grandmas and grandpas, love this method of preserving fruit? Because it uses less sugar compared to jam, and we also process it less with heat. So a certain amount of essential vitamins and beneficial nutrients still remain within the fruit, instead of disappearing completely or almost entirely, like they typically do during prolonged caramelization and extensive boiling in sugar. You can cut it into quarters and remove the core, or you can even leave the seeds in. It's really up to you, or you can just have them and remove the insides with a melon baller. Gently rub the ripe, sweet pear with a fresh slice of lemon. Then put the pear into the syrup and cook it. It's hard to say exactly how long. It depends on the size of your pear, how ripe it is, and the variety. You want it to stay intact, but the knife should go in gently, pretty easily. Usually, you can tell by looking at the pear. The syrup seeps in, and you can see it by the color. You know how meat cooks. It's the same with the pear. It becomes more translucent. So, if you see that the core here is still kind of whitish, it means the heat hasn't reached the center yet. That's why you should watch the color, and then check with the tip of the knife to see how soft it is. For this amount, it'll take about 12 minutes, 15 at most. All right, and I'm adding some lemon here as well. I like to preserve them with pieces of lemon right in there. That bit of tartness is just right, and the aroma in the middle is wonderful. We can calmly start putting the pears into the jar. Next to me, I have a pot getting ready for sterilization. That is, the water is coming to a boil in there. Sterilization is absolutely necessary, otherwise the pears won't keep for long. Also, besides lemon, pear goes really well with thyme. If you have some fresh thyme, maybe growing on your windowsill, just toss a few sprigs into the syrup here. It definitely won't hurt. You always need to work while everything is hot. Don't let anything cool down at any point. All right, lemon goes in, and now this boiling syrup. If you want, you can also add a star anise or a cinnamon stick, for example. Only use dried spices, don't add fresh mint, because it'll turn black and just ruin everything. Thyme holds up well, or a sprig of rosemary also works nicely. Or, as I said, dried spices, or even whole black peppercorns, if that's something you like. Or maybe you've got some tonka beans lying around somewhere. Gently lower it in so the jar can adjust, and let it sterilize for 1 hour. Now, while sterilizing, make sure the water is at 100 degrees, but not at a rolling boil. I always mention this, I emphasize it so you don't forget, so nothing bad happens, like something popping, exploding, or boiling over. Otherwise, you'll end up getting mad at the canning or the sterilization process, and there's no need for that. Everything can be done slowly and gradually. Carefully take it out. There you go. Let it cool down, and then we put it away in the pantry or cellar. Well, and after that, you know what to do with it. I wish you delicious and high-quality preserves.